for so many of us, especially in the spring time, this time of year, every Saturday morning is dedicated to getting up and going to the farmers market. And we are so lucky to have so many great ones here in our area, including the Royal Oak Farmers Market, which actually started all the way back in 1925, and it's still going strong. Robin Richardson joins us now on the show. She's the event planner for the Farmers Market. Great to have you with us.
Good morning.
Robin, I have to ask, how are things going? Because I feel like first there was all the construction that was going on next to the Farmers Market, and then the pandemic hit. How are things going now?
Things are going well, and I think we managed to navigate that even during all of the challenges that we've had. The beauty of that is we are now in the middle of like the Civic Center, if you will, and they're just tearing down the old City Hall today, and it's going to be a gorgeous park. So this is going to be a really a big focal point of the city. I hope people will come and use the beautiful park and all the area around it. And as far as the pandemic, I think that if anything could come good out of it, the good part is that people are more aware of where their vegetables and fruits and foods are coming from and how they're being processed and how they're brought to market. And it's sort of given us a resurgence of people coming to the market. We've never shut down. We were always open. We took some of the things that we normally would have, like the added value things we talked about, like the garden art and things like that, and told them we weren't going to have them here, but we still had all of the farmers throughout the entire pandemic. We never closed 1 week. So we were very fortunate to be labeled as an essential business and being able to do that and still provide quality groceries for our community.
Yeah, so think back to the beginning of the pandemic where we did have the crisis in the food supply. Things are pretty much back to normal. So do you anticipate the summer is going to be busier than ever, though? Because once people got in the habit of going to the farmers market, it kind of sticks with them.
I think, yes, that's part of it. I think people are being a little more educated on how things are grown and what they're used to grow with, and not to take away from any grocery store. But, the guy you're buying the food from is the guy that grew the asparagus, and the person you're getting your eggs from is the one that collected the eggs. So, they know there was no chain of people. It literally is farm to table. And I think people are realizing the quality of what you can get here is very on point with the pricing. So I think our prices are very comparable to what you find in a grocery store, but the quality is so it's wonderful.
Yeah, I always find the farmers market is less expensive, but it's like you said, but I enjoy the conversations that you get to have with the growers, and they have so many great stories.
Well, they have wonderful stories. Most of our farmers are third or fourth or even fifth year generations. There's a couple of farms that have been here almost since the beginning of the market. We never close. We are year round. So that's one thing that's unique about our market, is that we are 52 weeks, where I know some of them are seasonal. But it's cute because people will call and say, do you have any watermelon? I'm like, no, it's May. I don't have watermelon in May, because what you're getting here is grown here in Michigan by our farmers and brought to you. And it's all seasonal, it's all in season, and it's all delicious because of that.
And so with that too, Robin, can you tell us a little bit more about the farmers? How have they been doing throughout this pandemic? Is there a little bit of a competition with the farmers markets to get certain people at each market? Do they have enough employees to support that?
Well, I think the farmers market is, the farmers that are here, I think, have everyone's struggling for employees. Let's face that, everyone's struggling for employees. But I think most of our farmers it's more like a family than it is an employee. They have people that have worked for them for years. Their children are now working for them. So I have a farmer who just asked if my daughter, who just turned 13, will come help them sell vegetables on the weekend. So it really is a family atmosphere. And so I think because of that, we are a little bit not we're not quite as desperate as finding people, but everyone's always looking for good quality people, and there's many of the farmers that are looking here to hire if you are willing to work the season.
And so with that too, Robin, we're speaking with Robin Richardson. She's the event planner over at the Royal Oak Farmers Market. For most of the farmers, are they somewhat local to the Metro Detroit area, or do they come? How far away do they typically come?
Well, to be a farmer here, you have to grow. Your farm has to be in Michigan. Most of them are from like the Armada and Romeo. There's a few out of the Ann Arbor area. Belleville, a couple of our greenhouses, but you have to be a Michigan farmer to sell at the Royal Oak Farms Market.
So that I remember last year around this time trying to find flowers and plants, and they were a little bit scarce. Hopefully this year, how is the supply looking when it comes to flowers this year here in Michigan?
They're looking great, and I have to give credit to the city of Royal Oak because there was a lot of controversy last year about who and how and what you could sell and what was deemed essential and what was not deemed essential. And a lot of the agricultural department and the CDC were telling us what we could and couldn't do. And the city took a bold stance and said, I think plants of flowers and beautiful baskets of flowers, that might be essential to your mental health in all of what we're dealing with. And they were really open about letting us in a very safe way, because at that point in time, we didn't realize that it wasn't through touch that that things were transmitted. They let us do that, and I think it was a really good idea. It was a really good choice. Farmers, of course, benefited from that, but so did our community. And this year, we have farmers that are close to selling out by couple hours in the morning on certain things because people are really ready to get going. I think with the warmer weather now, people are just ready to go. And these guys are bringing in plants that are gorgeous, just gorgeous. We have cut flowers, we have flats of flowers, potted plants, patio plants. You can buy, if you're in an apartment or a condo, you can still grow cucumbers and tomatoes because they've taken that into consideration. So a lot of good stuff. And also, the prices here are incredible. The flats of flowers start at like $10 a flat or 2 for $18. That's a pretty good price.
That's a really good price. Robin Richardson with us here on the MegaCast. And Robin, with that as well, we know that the state did drop the mask mandate this past weekend for people who are fully vaccinated. What is the status there at the market? This is confusing for everyone, right?
I think it's confusing for everyone. And until we have some clarification from what the city wants to do, because wrong or right, we're owned by the city and we take our charge from the city. So we have not heard yet. I'm assuming that's going to happen at some point today of what our mandate is. I know that this weekend, we did ask people to still have their masks on in the building. And for the most part, people are really good about that. They understand. You see sometimes people with little children trying to put their mask up over their nose. And it's adorable, but it's like, it's okay. We know this is, hopefully this is going away shortly. We're starting to do events again, starting to book weddings again. So, and people still have those questions of like, how can I put my tables and how can do I have to have my masks on? So I'm sure it will keep evolving. But as it stands right now, we're still asking indoors to wear a mask. Outside, we have a little more flexibility. And I'm assuming that will continue to change just like everyone else is dealing with what to do next. I know that they said something this morning that President Biden was coming on to clarify that for all of us. So hopefully we'll have some answers. But yes, we're trying to just do our best to, keep everyone as safe as possible and still be able to provide a really valuable place for people to shop.
So you had also mentioned weddings, and we know a lot of people last year pushed their weddings to this year. So when it comes to actually renting out the market for weddings, are you guys pretty booked in that area?
We're getting there. That's another thing I have to give credit to the city. They were very gracious about giving back deposits or moving deposits. And we had brides in tears because they were booked other places that weren't allowing them to get their deposit back, but weren't allowing them to do their events. So it was sort of a no-win situation. But the city has worked with every group. If you weren't comfortable doing your event, they were, and we could do it under the guidelines, they were still reasonable about what they could refund. So I think people are starting. We had a celebration of life party on Saturday, which was something we'd never done before, but it was someone who passed away, and they wanted to just have a party, and it was, they talked about all the wonderful things that this person did, and it was just a lot of people here, a fair amount of people, I should say, having a really nice time with their family again. So it was good to see it. It kind of felt like old times. So we are booking a lot of events. We're booking a lot of weddings, and we're hoping for the best here.
So one of the other great things that goes on at the market, I don't know how many people really know the antique market on Sundays.
Right.
It's like a hidden gem.
It really is. And that's another thing, that those vendors have been here for a very long time. And they have a lot of established customers, but then you'll have all these people that are new to Royal Oak coming in and seeing what's going on. And they have lots of good stuff. Anywhere you name it, it's here. It could be jewelry, it's just clothing, collectibles, lots of good stuff. Every Sunday we do that from 8 to 3.
Now, has that continued throughout the pandemic?
That was closed down for, I think it closed down for about 4 months. And then we opened, but both for the farmer's market and the antique market, we've rearranged our floor plan, where we were down to about half of the amount of vendors that we normally have, just to give them some space and to bring out extra space inside their booths, so that when you were walking into it, you still could social distance. We have started to add a few more now that things have let up a little. And I'm assuming that at some point we will be back to full capacity, but there's still about 50 vendors on any given Sunday.
And so with that, again, we're talking with Robin Richardson. She's the event planner for the Royal Oak Farmers Market. A few years ago, I remember going to one of the food truck rallies, which is always a great event. Is that going to start back up?
It has started back up in April, and we have revamped that as well. That's one thing I said, and we say all the time, like, you didn't realize how creative you could be until you had to be creative. But we used to do it indoors and outdoors as far as where the trucks were. And now we have all the trucks outside and all the seating inside and outside. So now the entire building is seating, and the tables are spread out. We have 2 or 3 staff that work, and basically what they're doing is just keeping things cleaned up. And so we still have a truck rally every second Wednesday from 5 to 9. And last month was wonderful. We had some great new trucks, and we had a really good crowd. This coming rally on June 9th, we're looking to book a full-blown band. We normally have one guy with live music who's wonderful, but we thought we'd switch it up a little and bring a band on. So I think it's going to be Full Tilt Boogie, which is they play about anything. So there's live entertainment, there's great food, there's places that your kids can just run and have fun, probably pull out that sidewalk chalk at some point. And we're just trying to kind of, like everyone says, get back to a little bit of normal.
We are so looking forward to it. Robin Richardson with us here. Just another minute or two with you here on the show. If someone hasn't been to the market since the pandemic, if they're coming down for the first time, what do you want them to know? What changes, but also just parking can get a little confusing there as well.
Well, I will tell you that parking has really eased up now that the City Hall and the police station are finished. There is almost as much. We used to have about 400 spaces outside, right surrounding the building. We're back to almost that. And there's a beautiful, brand new, well-lit parking structure about a half a block from us. So there is plenty of parking. There's fantastic finds. You can do all your grocery shopping here. There's meat, cheese, eggs, vegetables, flowers. Sunday is a great just walk through and have some fun, and then look on our website because we always have something going on, especially on our Facebook pages when we really push what we're doing. But in between a food truck rally or we have a Bogey Fest coming up, and there's a lot of things that are happening again. And we try to do our very best to make sure it's a very safe environment, but we're moving forward to starting to have a little fun again.
You have some great organic farmers there as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have Senzori Farms, which is one of our largest farmers. They also are one of the biggest suppliers of Whole Foods. And we have Lake Divide, which is just a small family, but they do some fantastic things. We have farmers that are growing in hoop houses, which means they're not necessarily organic, but they don't spray with anything. So all of their greens and everything nothing's been sprayed on them at all. We've got we have one farmer here that grows in a shipping container. So it's all hydroponic. So there's vegan, there's gluten-free, there's paleo, there's keto. We've got a fudge guy that makes keto-friendly fudge. So you can find it here. We have a fish guy that's bringing in Mackinac fishmongers. They're bringing in fish that they caught on Friday and selling to you on Saturday. So, I mean, it doesn't get any fresher. It doesn't get any better than that.
With that, before we let you go, do you have capacity limits?
Well, our capacity in the market is like 1,000 people. So, I mean, if we were at capacity, so it can get busy in here, but it's an open air market as well. There's large roll-up doors. It's indoors and outdoors. So, there's 20-foot ceilings. So we have, plenty of space to move around and plenty of space we have parts if you need that. We have roadside pickup if you need help getting things into your car. So we have lots of good things going on here. I would suggest anyone that lives anywhere near here to take a ride over on a Saturday or Sunday.
Absolutely. Robin Richardson with us. She's the event planner for the Royal Oak Farmers Market. We appreciate your time.